Ladies and gentlemen, we are back with another Atlantic Division preview live stream. I am co-host Cody along with the main host Kirby and Nick, and we have a very special guest today, Matty from the Bruins Benders Podcast. Matty, how we doing today?
Oh, good. Better than the Bruins.
Well, we want to get into that with you, Matty, before we start here. And just to our audience here that's listening to this either live or on the replay, we have Zack Phillips from TheLeafsNation joining us after Matty here this evening to break down the Toronto Maple Leafs. But before we get to that, we got to go through the Bruins here. So, Matty, me and Nick off air were looking at when was the last time the Bruins had a season like this? And it was kind of surprising to see. And Nick, you kind of hit it on the head post-lockout there. So
20 years ago.
Yeah. So what, like, Cody, you wanted to ask the question?
Yeah. So coming off a season like that where it was turbulent before the season started with the whole Cam Neely, I got 70 million reasons I would be playing right now quote from Jeremy Swayman, and then the turbulent start and then never ever getting your footing. My question is, like, with Bruins fans being so used to winning and kind of being on this downturn, what is it that you or the fans want? Do you guys want them to compete for a wild card spot, or do you want them to kind of tail off and maybe go for a top draft pick because this next draft is very deep? So I'm wondering the mindset here. I'm just curious.
Well, it's hard, right? Because you want your team to win, and then but realistically, I mean, this team's not going to win many. They're not going to get many points. Not going to win many games. I mean, tonight again, getting dusted by the Rangers in the preseason. I know it's only preseason, but the same problems over and over. Defensively, a train wreck the last half of the season last year, and then coming into this season, it doesn't look to be getting much better. Secondary scoring is pretty much non-existent unless guys just come out of the woodwork. So I don't think we're going to have a choice. I think they're going to miss the playoffs. I think they're going to be in the lottery again. I think that's probably the best path. Now, is it the right regime to do this? I have my serious doubts if Don Sweeney can build a roster that can be back to competitive level. I think he did a good job with the old core, which was set up for him. I don't think he has a clue on how to build a roster going forward. And I think this is sort of a slow leak, a slow death of Don Sweeney not having much of an idea of how he wants to move forward and how he can put that roster together.
And Nick, Cody, something that Coach Frenchie talked with us last week on the Montreal Canadiens preview show, and even off air with me a little bit, you kind of got to be around, I think, that 235 plus goals for to make a push for the playoffs. Last year, the Bruins were at 222. So they're going to have to find probably 15, 20 goals this year. And then they allowed 271 last year, which was the big surprise with the additions of Zadorov, another year of Charlie McAvoy in his prime. Obviously, the Jeremy Swayman situation didn't kind of straighten itself out and correct itself during the season, which I thought it was going to. So I'll take a big L there.
All of
so
us
they're going
did.
to bring that goals against down a lot too, Cody.
Yeah, I mean, look, I last season, they traded Marchand, they traded Coyle. They'll have to replace that somehow offensively. They were still in it for a while, even after the trade deadline. I guess technically in it. Because look, just about everybody's in it until March. So. Can they hang in it? Yeah, maybe. I mean, they lost McAvoy for a large chunk of time. They lost Hampus Lindholm for even longer than that. So their defensive core, was kind of depleted, and then lose Brandon Carlo, who's arguably your most steady defensive defenseman, one of your better penalty killers. You don't have a great special teams. I mean, if you're not a great team talent-wise, you better be pretty good on special teams. And they weren't a good penalty killing team, and they were a terrible power play club. So I don't know if those things will get better. So I just don't see a scenario where they're going to get to 240, 250 goals. I think it's closer to, look, they were 14 goals away from being last. I mean, San Jose had 208, and that was last. So I think that they'll really struggle to get much past 200 this year, unless Victor Arvidsson has a pretty good year, unless Casey Middlestat produces, unless Pavel Zacha produces more, unless Matej Blumel comes out of the woodwork as an AHL goal scorer, an NHL goal scorer. I mean, there's a lot of ifs. So I just don't see where they score enough goals, and they don't have the defense, to really complement that.
Yeah, I mean, as we take a look at some of the notable additions and subtractions here, one of the things, obviously, that I was listening to a bit of Charlie McAvoy's interview with 32 Thoughts, and Kirby, I think the word you used was delusional.
Hopium.
Hopium. I would say delusional. Kind of from a fan perspective, what exactly? I guess it's so weird how quickly this turned around. I think all three of us had the Bruins making the playoffs last year.
All of a sudden, winning the division.
We all had them winning the division. Okay, yeah, I had them winning the division. One of my questions here is there maybe any young guy that, obviously in seasons like this, it's going to be tough. Are there any bright spots you're looking at potentially coming up throughout the season, maybe to give you guys some hope? And then secondly, if you guys are going to be going this rebuild, retool, what does that mean for guys like Pastrnak, Swayman, and McAvoy? Because, you think those three guys, like, they're in the prime of their careers. They're not old guys. Like, this is when they're supposed to be winning, and now you're kind of in a little bit of a weird window now where, if you had built the team around them right now, like, those are the core guys you need.
Well, the first answer is no. I don't have a single young player I'm excited about. I mean, Fabian Lysell has been talked about for a while. There's deficiencies in his defensive game. He also goes 1-on-3 way too often, has a lot of bad habits. He seems to have shaken some of that off and learned some of that. But still, can he produce? I mean, there is absolutely no indication of that. Matt Patra started out fairly hot his first season, and then has really tapered off at the NHL level. Had a really good AHL season, but jury's still on whether or not he's an AHL guy or a borderline NHL guy. What that looks like. There are no, right now you're looking at James Higgins and maybe Dean Letourneau, maybe Will Moore, but those guys are 3 years away, 2 or 3 years away, probably. So right now they're in this weird black hole of not having a lot of young talent ready to go and aging core. And we talked about on the podcast, if it gets to be a couple of years down the road, I mean, does David Pastrnak go into the offense and be like, okay, what are we doing? Like, he has a team friendly contract the more this goes on. So, I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility that he says, you know what? Couple years from now, you really haven't made any strides. We're kind of stuck in quicksand. Right. It's not on the realm of possibility that he might be the chip that helps them get to where they need to be.
Yeah.
And that should be under serious consideration if we get a couple years down the road. It should.
And you mentioned guys like Letourneau. Like, one of the things I remember hearing about him is how raw he was coming out of the draft. He's quite a bits away. I think he had a bit of a rough season last year. Where did he play? I don't know. He's in
Letourneau?
Yeah.
Letourneau played at BC and had 0 goals, 3 assists. And
he had a rough year, I remember hearing, and that's going to be a bit of a project. So, I mean, you're taking a look at, like, I mean, I don't even know if retool is the correct word. I think you guys should.
No, it's a rebuild. And talk about delusional. I'll tell you who's delusional. Don Sweeney. Like, this is we talk about all the time on the podcast because we'll say what we want to say. But the thing is that he's so delusional, saying, well, it's going to be a production by committee, he said this year, which legitimately means you aren't good.
That sounds nice in the offseason.
It does. It does, but it never works like that. They have very little secondary scoring. David Pastrnak, toward the end of last season, was factoring in on like 70% of the goals or something outrageous. He had 106 points, and the next guy, had half of that.
Yeah, so we have it at the bottom of the screen.
Yeah.
Put it at the bottom there.
Morgan Geekie, 57 points.
Like
and
almost
30
half.
of those were goals.
And
Yes,
Brad
and
Marchand-
21 set up by Pastrnak. So look, it's they are not in reload or retool, or they're in rebuild, and it's like a ground up rebuild. And they need. We talked about on the podcast, like I don't believe James Higgins is the number one center. If you look at the number one centers on really good teams, they're all big. They're all big, formidable players, high level players. James Higgins is like 5'11", 180. Like he's a second line. To me, I would project him as a second line center on a really good team, like cup contending team, if he gets to that point. So they still need a big, the big horse. They still need that big time center. And really what they need to do is to be bad and to really have a shot at McKenna. Like if he's a generational talent, if he's like on the lines of Sid Crosby and those types of guys, McDavid, then they need that guy, or it's going to be really difficult. You can't do it in free agency because Jack Eichel's about to sign. I mean, McDavid will sign probably. So all the elite players either sign with their clubs or they dictate where they go. No one's going to Boston.
Yeah.
It's funny. It's like I've tuned into a couple of their podcasts, like just to kind of. I like getting pulses on where people like to see their teams because they watch the teams a hell of a lot more than I do. I've never heard a podcast bury their GM.
Well, I mean, look, when they were going good, we were all bells and whistles. We it was great. We were analyzing, but we're a podcast for the fans. And look they've dug their own hole. I mean, they've done this themselves, and we're not afraid to say it. Like it's look, you can be. Okay, it's only preseason, and they're going to be better than they were last year. Well, what indication? What tells you that they're going to be any better than they were last season? I don't see it. So that's what we're going to say.
Hey, I respect it. It's just low-key. It's kind of hilarious, though.
Yeah,
it's also. I just
wanted to jump in on that point with Matty there before we do move on. Is that what the fan base is feeling, Matty? Is that what your community is?
I think anyone with a brain and a pulse can see like this is just not going well. And unless you have absolutely black and gold glasses on, I don't see where you think that this is good. Like they're in trouble. Like they are in trouble. They don't have any prospect to speak of that's within 2 years away. And that's still, who knows what that looks like. I mean, they're counting on guys like Dan Zloshmelis, who was a 4th round pick. I mean, they're counting on guys who were low round draft picks and hoping to God that one of them will be pretty good. It's just not there. And I don't know how it gets better because they don't have much to trade. They don't have really much of a, anything to sell to someone to come. And they don't draft well and haven't drafted well, haven't developed players well. I just don't know how it gets better.
I could definitely see that. You said nothing to trade. I think Pastrnak could fetch you a little bit of a.
Well, that's the. I mean, unless you do that, but that's a franchise. That's a Joe Thornton, Tyler Seguin type deal. Yeah,
but it's just now if you do that with Pastrnak, I think you like the fans kind of realize like, oh, now it's officially a rebuild or whatever. That'd be like the first, like the biggest.
That's the sign that this thing, like with Thornton. I mean, 1996-97, his rookie year, they weren't very good. That was the year they had 61 points. So that's the year that they just completely tanked, and that wasn't the next year was his rookie. So they drafted him after that in Samsonov. So that was a bad year. That we're talking like that type of deal. So, that's really the only, and I don't see them trading Pastrnak right now. I mean, I think they're going to try to see it through. They just don't do things like that. Like with someone like Pastrnak, if they had, Thornton, they had some issues with, Seguin, they had some issues with, they love Pastrnak and the fans do. And it would be really tough to trade him now.
It's an interesting thing because here, as we can read off the additions and subtractions,
and we're going.
You want to go back?
You want to go back?
Read them off real quick. And the additions: Victor Soderstrom from Irna, the IHF.
I just want to jump in. That's the guy we wanted to draft the Dale Talon year.
I'll tell you what, you can have him. because he's a -4 in the preseason. So
I like a lot of
send
your
him.
defensemen, but
We'll
You
send him.
know, for everybody who wants to know,
you know.
Kirby wanted Adam Boakfist last year. So remember
oh,
that.
come on.
We didn't have
For
much
budget.
we didn't have much cap space to pick from, so that's
I
what
wanted
we got.
Dante Fabro for budget, but I
That
guess
was correct, though. That was
What
correct.
do you
I was correct. So
Paul
didn't
Maurice
have the-
wanted him
We
too.
didn't even have the waiver priority. You think we're gonna get him?
we could have traded a fourth for him. Give
Yeah,
me
we
a
never
break.
win the waivers, no.
Yeah, and we never would have got Seth Jones. Victor
would've figured
Arvidsson
it
from the
out.
Edmonton Oilers. I believe that was via trade.
Yeah,
Tanner
for a fifth-round
Jeannot-
pick. Yeah,
For Tanner Jeannot to bring back some of that old Boston grit.
I'm telling you, a 5-year deal. A 5-year deal
Forget those
for
five.
Tanner Jeannot.
I'm trying.
Like seriously, like a 5-year deal. Look,
Hey,
I
you
like
said
Tanner
they're
Jeannot.
committing
I
to
like
the
the player.
rebuild.
I like the player, but for God's sakes, who
Hey,
else is offering him 5 years?
No one. You're
NHL GMs out there.
listen. You're dragging for Gavin. Let's go.
Yeah.
I know our very own Vincent Scheib would offer in that contract. That's for sure.
Old fan favorite is Sean Corrali from Columbus. I do believe he scored did he score the game winner in Game 7 versus the Leafs at one of those years? He scored.
He had a playoff where he had like 4 goals, 12 points. Like he had a really good playoff one year for them. Then kind of tailed off. He's okay, but he's aging. I think he's 33. I mean, he's aging. Jeannot, the length of the deal is outrageous. But if he can bring some toughness and some leadership and protection for some guys, fine. Blumel is a guy who scored 39 goals with the Texas Stars last year in the AHL. The leading scorer in the league. It's yet to be seen whether or not he can actually do it in the NHL. He scored tonight on a nice feed from Middlestat, so maybe there's something there with Blumel. Jordan Harris, veteran defenseman. He's a seventh defenseman for them right now. Just some coverage in case they get hurt because they don't have a lot of depth, especially at defense. And then Steves, I don't think he makes it.
But
And then no major subtractions.
Yeah, I mean
obviously.
the biggest one is what?
No.
Parker, public enemy number 1, Parker Wotherspoon.
I offered to drive Wotherspoon to the airport. If he's the biggest, in that group, I like Cole Koepke. Cole Koepke had some nice moments for them, but they don't need him. He's a dime a dozen type of player. Yeah. That list right there, there's no subtraction, and I would say like, oh god, that might come back to bite us. Like
a lot of them came at the.
Jordan Harris is better to me. Jordan Harris is an upgrade from Parker Wotherspoon.
Yeah, and a lot of them, the subtractions came at the deadline. Trent Frederick, Brandon Carlo.
Yeah.
Reinhard
with Charlie Coyle. Yeah,
Charlie Coyle. Yeah. So that's where most of it did come from. Now we take a look at the lineup here. And
that's where, Nick, when we get to the lineup here, that's where Matty, it sounds like, is going to have a hard time.
I mean, it's
this is just mid.
Yeah, mid. Honestly, like that's why I don't think they're going to be bad enough. Like,
but okay, this is the Boston Bruins, so you always look silly when you undersell them. But on paper, with all the other teams in the Atlantic, I can't really make it work when you're making.
This is one of the worst forward groups in the NHL. Right here.
Oh, well, good. I agree.
This is it, right here.
But I don't think it's bottom 5 in the NHL bad. Like
I think it's there. I really do.
It's close.
I mean, I think you're going to be like my
Nick,
opinion.
are you talking on paper or in principle?
On paper.
I think how it's going to play out. I don't think it's going to be like
it's
bottom
not
5.
Seattle bad, but it's
this is almost without Pasternak. This is almost expansion level. This is almost like an expansion team.
It would be less than Seattle.
But Pasternak there, it's better than Seattle. I mean, Pasternak's just.
Well, sure. I mean, Pasternak's an elite player. Yeah.
He's gonna have to drag him to the fight. Drag him everywhere, even on the plane. It's not going to
work. I mean, last year they were still kind of in it, and he, like I said, factored in like 70% of the goals, and they still tanked. It's not going to happen. He's going to be a really elite winger who's playing with a bunch of ding dongs that can't score any goals. Like it's just like Hustadinov is another case. Like the Bruins are in this cycle of picking up these guys. Oliver Wahlstrom was last year of thinking like, okay, this is going to be the magic potion. Like come to the Bruins, we're going to get this guy right. Well, Wahlstrom sucked too, so he's gone. And now Hustadinov, he can't produce at the NHL level. Blumel hopefully is not another Hustadinov. And then you have Jeannot is, I like Jeannot, but, Jesus, I mean, if you're counting on Tanner Jeannot, you're in trouble. And then the fourth line has the potential to be okay, but, it's the fourth line. Like, it's not going to produce many goals or anything. Middlestat is a train wreck defensively. Again tonight, just awful back check. They score a goal, the Rangers. And, it's, Elias Lindholm, that was a bad contract from the beginning. We even said that. My co-host Smitty was all over that. He's like, do not give this guy anything. And they outbid themselves. I didn't hear another team offer that guy anywhere near what the Bruins did. But they did. So now you have Elias Lindholm, who has to be the number one center because he makes almost $8 million a year. And he's going to be a 40 to 50 point guy, even with Pastrnak next to him.
Matty. We talked about this 2 summers ago with you on our preview shows over on the Twitter platform. We talked about what's this center depth going to look like, with Patrice Bergeron and David Krejci retiring, Elias Lindholm coming in. He still hasn't got back to that season he had in Calgary with Matthew Tkachuk and Johnny Gaudreau.
I think the thought was
it's kind of expected here, and then with Zacha, I don't think he's really met his peak form in Boston here.
No, well, I mean last year he had a down year. Zacha.
I think the thought with Lindholm was that he was going to go with Pastrnak, and it was just going to work, right? Like you had Marsh,
right? And look at Lindholm when he was with Matthew Tkachuk and Johnny Gaudreau had like a 80-point season or whatever it was. But when he doesn't play with elite players, he's a 40-point guy. Like that's just it. So yes, Pastrnak and him have some chemistry from last year, and Geeky, of course, had a really good year. I think the top line will be okay. Like, is it a top line that's going to rival others? No, but it could be a mid-level top line. Sure, it's the rest of it that's just hot garbage. I mean, it's just not good enough. I mean, you're expecting Victor Arvidsson at 34 years old. I mean, they got a bunch of guys. Corrali at 33, a bunch of guys who were pretty good 5 or 6 years ago. And that's what teams like this have to do, is try to catch lightning in a bottle with a guy who did it. Jeannot scored 24 goals, whatever it was, 6 years ago. He hasn't come close to that since. But the Bruins think, well, maybe this guy, give him 5 years and maybe he can get it done. It's just, this is like, to me, it's just maddening how much they've screwed this thing up. Yeah. It really is.
Tony, we talked about this, and Nick, remember in our post-game show, just before we move on to the defense, Elias Lindholm was being put in the same tier and category with Mark Scheifele. Look what Mark Scheifele's done the last 20 years.
Well, they were talking about Matthew Tkachuk got carried by Elias Lindholm.
Yeah, that's what we were saying when he got traded to us.
Yeah, so I remember that.
And but it was funny. It was funny because it was Gaudreau, God rest his soul, and Matthew Tkachuk carrying that line
sure.
Because that line was the best first line in hockey in that regular.
That was a fun Flames team to watch. I got to say,
it was.
Yeah, but we can move on to the defense, which is it's a bit better than the forwards.
I think this is where they need the improvement, Cody.
You have reigning Masters winner Mason Lohrei, top.
Oh, I got you.
Oh, and then
I thought you tongue slipped and said Masters.
No, I just saw Matty's face.
I love how you said the defense is a little bit better than the offense, and you started with minus 43 Mason Lohrei.
Yes,
like that tells you
this is where the improvement has to come from, the defense.
On paper,
it's not bad. It's
not terrible.
Paper. It's there. Yeah.
That's not what you can say. It's there.
The paper I'm looking at has the stats, and it's minus 43. Like it's McAvoy and Lohrei cannot play 20 minutes a game with a defensive stick of dynamite that he is. You can't do that. So, and Zadorov, God bless him. I mean, fans started to kind of fall in love with him a little bit because he says the right things, and he plays sort of a heavy game, and he started to play a little bit better, but he's still, I mean, the first preseason game, he just got his pocket picked and they scored a goal in 2 seconds. Like it's just too much there. That's just not good enough from Zadorov either. And then you've got, Andrew Peeke actually has been a fairly steady defenseman for them. Like he makes like less than $3 million, and he's fairly steady, but fairly steady, he's not going to get it done. Hampus Lindholm is really important. I mean, can he get back to form? If he can, then that would help. If McAvoy can play a full season, which he just doesn't do, then that would be great. So, but there's so many ifs. The defense can be okay, but they've fallen into such bad habits. And Yoki Haru, like, they had to keep him. Like, they had to keep him. Like, what else would you do? I mean, it's in a perfect storm, they would have let him walk, but they had to bring him back because there's just not enough in the farm. There's nothing in the farm to fill that hole. Like, the farm is even worse. The defense is even worse than the forwards on the farm. I mean, I'm not even sure. Frederic Brunet is a guy that they talk about some. Like, there's just not anything there defensively on the farm either. So, I don't know. I mean, you can make a case that defense is better than the forwards, but that's just because the forwards are really bad.
And obviously a number of these guys are probably gone by the deadline by
Peak, especially right-handed.
Peak right shot, physical
guy.
I think he'll be gone. And then just a quick look at the goaltenders.
Just before that, Nick, I was really wrong on Zadorov last year. I thought Zadorov, Boston Bruins, fits like a glove.
I tried to tell you. I really.
I think again,
in some ways he does, but Zadorov is, he just makes too many mistakes defensively. He didn't give enough. I thought he gave a little bit more offense, like he could shoot the puck and stuff, but he didn't really do that much either. And he's a third pair guy. Like, he doesn't really kill penalties well. I mean, what else can you do with him? And Zadorov has been
they had him with McAvoy in the top pairing to start last training camp.
Oh my God Almighty! I mean, that's like. And here's the thing about Charlie McAvoy. I like Charlie McAvoy, but he's not, Makar and some of these other guys. He's a notch below, and that's fine. I mean, that's fine. He's still a very good hockey player at that point, but he's not. I mean, expecting him to be, they're talking about Ray Bork comparisons and all this other stuff, and that's nonsense.
It's Kirby's guy right there.
He's fine. He's really good. Is he great? No, he's just not great. So, because he makes several mistakes, and he had some bad, when he was healthy. Too, with Montgomery especially, it was like when Montgomery was the coach, it was like he said, "You can do whatever you want, Charlie." And he just skated all over the ice. He was out of position all the time. So I don't, look, it's just going to be a really bad season, and I'm not sure how long. The question I have is, what does the progress look like to keep Sweeney there? Like, what does at the end of this season? What do we realistically want to see? So that we can say, okay, Sweeney has a plan and it's starting to work. I can't even visualize what that is.
Because we don't even know the plan yet.
He doesn't know the plan. That's the problem.
Sounds like us, Cody, after 2022, 2023, a different season, of course, but a lot more questions than answers.
Quick look at the goaltenders, the best part of your team, Jeremy Swayman, Jonas Korpisalo, who was pretty solid last year. So
Swayman's like, if this team has any chance in hell,
it's Jeremy Swayman.
It's Jeremy Swayman. Like,
he has to stand in his head. He has to be the top two goaltender in the league if they have any chance. I mean, he has to be what he was in the postseason the year before last.
And I think there's a possibility for that.
I think there is, but the problem is that the defense just coughs the puck up. And there's going to be times when he gives up 3 or 4 goals just because the defense is just so brutally irresponsible. So that's a problem. Yeah. Can the forwards actually play some defense? You've got Casey Middlestat, who could potentially be second line center. He is a terrible defensive player. So, there's some problems there too. It's not just the goaltender; it's sort of the way they play that makes the goal that leaves the goaltender out to dry. So I think Swayman will be better. He's a good goalie. I think he'll be better, but the whole ball of wax has to play together, and I just think it's so disjointed that he's not going to be able to save it, even if he's good.
Yeah. I want to add this question, Matty, because it kind of segues into what you've been saying here pretty much for this whole half an hour. We appreciate your time here. You move on from Jim Montgomery, go into interim coach Joe Sacco, now to Marco Sturm, former Boston Bruin, former Florida Panther. What are you seeing here? I know it's early to say. You've only seen a preseason game or so, but What are your expectations here? What do you hope?
Well, look, I liked Marco as a player. I mean, he had some really big goals for them. Scored the Fenway goal. Scored a big goal against the Canadiens back in 08, 09 when they were starting to turn the corner. Like, he had some really nice moments as a player. Look, he comes in and you hear a lot about Zadorov says, well, he's straightforward and he's honest, but he's fair and all that. Well, we heard all that about Cassidy when he first came. Like, he's honest and he's straightforward. He tells it like it is. Well, that ended up being a bunch of crybabies didn't like that anymore, so we had to fire him. And then he goes on and wins the cup. And then Jim Montgomery comes in, okay, more of a player's coach, softer hand. He's going to be great with the young guys. Never gave the young guys a chance. And then he got pissed off that he wasn't getting an extension, or they were going to be, lowballing him for his next contract. So then he checked out, literally had his hands in his pockets on the bench until they fired him. So look, the coach, the big thing with Sturm is going to have to be, and they talked about it, like defensive structure. They're going to have to play a boring defensive structure type scheme. And he has to do that. He has to get that back. It's going to take time because they have so many bad habits and so many poor defensive players that it's just not going to happen overnight. So they're going to have some patience with that. At this point, I don't care who the coach is at this point. It's just you need talented players. They don't have enough talent. So can he get the thing organized and stuff? I think he might be able to, sure. And I hope he does because I like him. But that's the least of their concerns. I mean, how many coaches are you going to go through? Like, they've fired good coaches. So it's not the coach. It's the fact that your general manager can't put the next core together to compete. And that's been the problem. And they're just sort of skimming that over by blaming the coach all the time.
Yep. And a fun fact about Sturm, he is the 6th ever European head coach in NHL history. The first in Boston's history. So
wasn't he the first German? Is he the first German coach?
He might be. I can't think of any off the top of my head.
Yeah,
but
he might be. Yeah.
Remember Marco Sturm, Panther legend. Like, just
is he?
He had 3 goals and 2 assists for us in like 40 games. So I mean, any guy that
Sturm was the Joe Thornton trade, I think, right? They traded. They got him back to Thornton
because he was drafted by San Jose. Yes,
Right.
So, but I mean, any person that's played for the Panthers between 2013 and 2015, in my brain, is a Panther legend because that's when we absolutely sucked. So, but predictions.
I mean, it says a lot as a fan when you still like Sturm when Thornton went on to score like 4,000 points. You know what I mean? Like it's nice that you can still like the guy even though you traded a Hall of Fame player away for him.
Yeah. We could have had Joe Thornton for Luongo, but
but he gave y'all everything he had that I can remember. So
Sturm was a good player for them. I really liked Sturm a lot. Yeah, I did.
But predictions here. Here's the thing with Boston for me.
You're gonna start us off.
Yes. They are. This may be. Because here's the thing, Matty's a fan of the team, stuff like that. But in my head, I can't count out Boston in the back of my head because every time I do it, like we count them out one time. Oh, they didn't have Krejci Bergeron. They went and set the freaking NHL record.
Yeah, I had them 9th that year, Cody.
They're not. Oh, the first year without Bergeron and Krejci, they're gonna suck. Nearly win the division. Like it's and
then we pick them to win the division.
And they finish last in the division. So they are the most volatile team, in my opinion.
For the Cats and Rats hosts and community, the most volatile.
Because I think Jeremy Swayman is a dark horse Vezina candidate because he could see the amount of shots or to a point where he can get into a groove and become a literal brick wall. Because most goalies that are pretty good see 45 shots a night because they get into a groove quickly.
And he can play in this division. He can go against anyone.
And he can play 60 plus games maybe. And that's about what it's going to take for Boston to even have a chance. If they want to compete.
Hey, Montembeault played 60 last year, Cody.
If he can do it, Swayman sure as hell can. And I think
don't disrespect Sam Montembeault.
And I think Swayman a bit wants to throw his hat into the Olympic ring. So that's also another factor. But for me, I have him 8th. I just can't.
Come on, Cody. I thought you were going to have him not there.
I have him 8th. I don't think they're going to score enough. I'm not going to lie to you. If Pastrnak
score 15,
if Pastrnak gets
eighth in the what? 8th in what?
In the Atlantic.
In the Atlantic, okay.
Yes, I have.
How many teams are there?
8.
Okay.
That's all I got added or something.
Good.
I just don't think
Okay.
they're going to score enough because if Pastrnak gets hurt, they're screwed. Like,
yeah.
Oh my God, yeah.
That might
And
be
you
the
know, he has
worst
knee
team I could
tendonitis
ever
right
watch.
now.
You know
Like,
what?
He has knee tendonitis right now. So
Yeah.
he's going to be I bet you. Look, he's played 82 games the last 2 seasons. He's actually a very durable player. People don't give him enough credit at all.
no,
He's had 82. He's had 3 82-game seasons, and he had back-to-back just now.
Pastrnak this week. Yeah.
Yeah.
But-
So if he's going to take nights off, they're gonna give him nights off because of this knee thing. So he's not going to play 82 games. So I have him at 78 points. I think that Swayman will be better. I think that they'll get some of the defensive thing together, and I think they'll win some games they shouldn't, and that kind of thing. I think that they'll kind of hang in, but at the end of the day, they're not going to score enough goals. They're going to score like 212 goals and be 78 points and be out, and then be in the lottery at somewhere around 6, 7, 8, and hope to God the ball, falls. And that's just kind of where we're at. Like, it's a deeper draft, I hear, but God knows what that means. So, we'll see who they pick. I don't even know what. I think, though, from what Frank Zaravalli said today, there might be a Zacha trade. I have a feeling they have too many. Not that they're great, but they have too many mediocre centers. Yeah. So they have to either decide on Middlestat or Zacha. I think they'd want to trade Middlestat, but no one wants to take him. So I think that Zacha's the guy. It might be Montreal. It might be Vancouver.
Vancouver, Matty.
Yeah, it might be one of those two. If Boston wants to deal with Montreal, it'll probably be Montreal. But I think Zacha might be traded.
Hey, look, they've dealt with Toronto. They dealt with us. Montreal may be the Burge burner.
Look, they only play teams 3 times now. It's not like you play them a
and
ton.
You're not
so
contending, so it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
Matt, you said you're very shallow with the defensive prospect pool. What does Montreal have? Defenseman overload. So maybe you can get a level.
Yeah,
but
we'll take
for me, I have them right around 76 to 81 points, somewhere in that range. I think the first half of the year, they're actually going to be a little bit better, maybe hover around 500, a couple games below 500. And then I think around the trade deadline, or maybe like after the Olympic break, that's when you start to see you start to see things tail off, and then injuries happen, stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I think, again, right out of the gate, they're not going to be like San Jose or like anything like that.
No.
They'll win some games, and I think they'll be right, a couple games, 5-6 games below 500, and then they'll tail off towards the end of the season.
In fact, I think they might win the first 2 games. That they play at Washington and then Chicago at home.
Yeah.
Like, they might win those first 2 games. It's not going to sustain. And in the trade deadline, they do have enough guys who they could potentially trade at the deadline to help contending teams. So it might be active again like it was last year. You might see like Arvidsson and Middlestat, and if Zacha's still on the team, and Peak and guys like that who could help other teams, you might see that. Even Korpisalo, like you might see teams kind of cherry pick them again. So that's
4 or
on
5
the table.
players on that team that could help, especially teams need goalie depth, injuries happen, stuff like that. You never know, right?
Yeah.
But I think 76 to 81 points.
What place in the Atlantic? And I also need Matty's placement.
Matty, go ahead, and then I'm trying to think of mine.
I'll give it 7th, but it's like 78 points, whatever that looks like. If that means really 7, does that mean 8? What's that?
Jump in. Are you really low on a team for in the Atlantic? We're just curious because we're doing some.
I think I know what team he's going to say.
Am I low in the Atlantic?
No. Which team?
Which team?
Which team? I still don't love Detroit.
Thank you.
I still don't love it. I still don't love that roster.
Thank you.
I was thinking Buffalo.
Yeah, I was thought Matty.
Yeah, but you know what? Yeah, but I think Detroit sucks worse. I just I just don't love their roster at all.
They gotta stay healthy.
Yeah, for me, it's the coach. That's the only difference.
To me, it's the GM, it's the roster, it's the coach, it's everything.
Don't get Nick started. Let's move on. Kirby, Nick, what's your place?
I didn't say where I.
What place?
I
so
think
7th. Cody has 8th.
Yeah, I got him at 7. I'll get him at 7 and Detroit at 8. Yeah,
I'll say 7th. I don't know where I'm going to put Detroit. I do think 6, 7, 8 are going to be very close.
Well, you got to figure that out next week. So
I got
7.
I think
Buffalo
Boston's.
6. Yeah,
I'm leaning towards that, but I'll go with Boston being 7th.
Okay, I'll be kind of quick with mine here and brief. I think you see at the bottom of the screen here, everyone watching, appreciate everyone here live and watching on the replay. Appreciate all the thumbs up as well on the video. Last year, Boston finishing with 76 points. I think Swayman's good enough to drag this team to an 80, 82 point season. But like Matty just said, if they're kind of spot managing him, resting him, an injury happens, I think this team can really bottom out and they can be top 3, top 5 in the draft.
If it starts that way, I want it to end that way. I want it to be like a legitimate chance at McKenna. I think that would really help the franchise. It helped that Hagen slipped because that was the proper choice. I just don't want to give Sweeney any chance to be creative or think he's the smartest guy in the room or whatever it is. Like, I just want him to pick the guy that falls like McAvoy in 16. Like, he fell to him. McAvoy is the right choice. Like, same thing here. Like, I don't want to give him any leverage.
You don't want to replay of 2015?
That's only an extra few wins,
How you look at here's the thing. One last thing about this 2015. When Cam Neely says we were at the water bubble or whatever and didn't have enough time to come together, all you had to do was look at the central scouting sheet that they gave you for free and say Kyle Connor, Thomas Chabot, whoever. Zach Senyshyn's nowhere near, so you can't say that I wasn't. And secondly, he was the assistant general manager. How is he caught off guard? Like he's in the office. Like, it's not like he came from Harvard, from a technologies company and walked in and said, "Okay, give me the list. I have no idea what I'm doing." I mean, he was the assistant GM. So. Look, Zach Senyshyn, I don't know how that happened. Zaboral was rated kind of where they picked him. That was a fail. He wasn't the player that they thought he was, or anyone thought he was.
The other one,
and DeBrusk was kind of around there too, but Senyshyn was just an epic fail that is just foolish. Like, it's crazy to me. Yeah. I mean, you had Kyle Connor, Barzal. You had later on. Didn't you have Besser and Aho and. I mean, there were so many guys. That friggin' thing was loaded. Like, it's just crazy to me that they would take Zach Senyshyn. Like,
it's so nuts. Funny. You just go first three were you had the Bruins repicks, and the next 3 picks after those 3 picks were all stars.
All stars, all great players. Yeah, and they're gonna go try to go after Kyle Connor. I bet you $1 million they'll try to go after Kyle Connor if he gets to market. And that's just another example of, boy, you screwed that thing up. Because now you're going to go pay the guy $12 million a year. You could have drafted him. Like, it's just nuts. It's just, that to me is why I just don't have any confidence in what's going on. I don't. And then the way he speaks, Sweeney, is just like nails on the chalkboard. It's just like speak. It's just like, you give me a break. But they can't even pick a captain. They can't even pick a captain. Like, honestly,
I guess McAvoy would be my pick. Or
my co-host says that McAvoy is going to be the captain. It's signed, sealed, delivered. They just want to get him back into the flow. They've been talking about this McAvoy Lowry love affair the last couple of days in the media. So that leads me to believe that they're planting the seed that he's like this Chara type leader or mentor. So just give it to him. Like, honestly.
Gotta wait for opening night for that one.
Everything's hard.
Kirby, what place did you have him?
I got him in last.
All right, you're with me. But Matty, appreciate having you on. I mean, I love the energy. You already sound like you're ready for the next off season.
Well, I'll tell you what, we're gonna do every post game again this season. So live post game right after the games, and we're gonna be hammering them for 82 of them. Like, this is gonna be not pretty at all.
Make sure you
that was me and Cody in the 20.
At least your expectations are on the floor.
Make sure you stock up on some Adams.
And Joshua in the chat who says that he has him at mid 80s, lower 90s. I want that Tylenol that he's taken because that's
hard. Get over
that's
there.
A little rough.
Oh,
He's real optimistic.
Hey, like, that's our boy Joshua for you. Always optimistic.
That's good. I'm glad. I love it. I love them to be in the low 90s and win 2 rounds. What the hell? Let's do it.
So, yeah, Matty, where can everyone follow you?
All right, so we're at Bruins Benders on X. I'm at Mr. Matty Barry. We're on YouTube through the Inside the Rink Podcast Network at Inside the Rink YouTube channel. And we do weekly episodes and then every single post game all season long.
Appreciate you, Matty. You've been with us since the beginning here the last 3 years. Appreciate you.
Matty,
Yeah, it's always good to be on with you guys.
Hey, it was an honor as always. Good luck this season.
Yeah, we're going to need it.
So not too much.
All right. But anyway, as we say goodbye to Matty, let's hear a word from our sponsor, Caneswear.
Panthers fever is here. Are you geared up? Caneswear in Davie is the place for all your Florida Panthers needs. They have the latest gear for our favorite NHL team. Jerseys, polos, t-shirts, hoodies, hats, and more. Caneswear has you covered. Stop by their store in Davie or at pantherswear.com. Again, that's Pantherswear, WEAR.com for all your Panthers gear.
And before we welcome our next guest, let's hear another word from our sponsor, Jeremy Beckham, with Next Home Treasure Coast. Hey, Panther fans in South Florida need real estate help? Check out Jeremy Beckham with Next Home Treasure Coast. It's a boutique service and a personal touch. Jeremy and his team put humans over houses, working hard for you, whether you're buying or selling. Ready to move? Hit up BeckSellsFLA.com or call 772-475-5371 now. You'll be glad you did.
Cody, just want to add one quick thing there with Jeremy. A couple exciting contests coming ahead for our Florida Panthers fans this season, so stay tuned for that.
But as you can see, I switched jerseys now. We're moving on.
That was quick.
To the one and only. I love how we do Boston and Toronto in the same episode. It's kind of ironic, but next up we have one of my favorite guests we have on, Mr. Zack Phillips. Zack, how we doing today, buddy?
Doing not bad. Just came from a beach volleyball game where there was some wicked lightning and it started pouring rain, but toughed it out, got the win. So we're here, we made it, and happy to be here, boys.
That's some of the Western Canadian grit and grind there out in Eastern Canada.
Yeah, exactly. We had to try to bring it out here to Toronto. There's people saying, hey, should we go home? I said, no, let's play this thing out. Mostly, let's try to get out of here with a win tonight because we're all miserable and cold and wet. So at least if we win, we can go home happy.
Kirby always finds a way to pump up Western Canada's tires.
I got it. We got a lot of
every time.
Never fails.
But hey, but Zach's trying to set the example for the Leafs this upcoming year because it's a new era.
Cody, I want the first question.
Brand new era.
You're tired of this always, and you're done with this. The Toronto media might not be done with it, but no longer do you have to refer to it the core four. By the way, you got rid of the right guy. So let's speak on that. Let's get it out of the way. Here we go.
Yes. Start with the quote that Berube had that I think everybody grabbed, where he was like, I'm just excited I don't have to talk about the core four anymore. I think everybody in Toronto is excited that there's no core four. It doesn't have to always revolve around the core four, and that's kind of nice because I know that there is it's a little cliche where it's okay, yeah, we're always focused on the core four, but it is a team or whatever. It does draw attention away from the fact that it is a team, whether you like it or not. It's just a constant focus about those guys and if they can get it done and nothing else. So that's kind of gone now. Yeah, lost Mitch Marner. He went away I would say free agency. You did trade him. You got Nick Waugh back. So you got something, but you lost him effectively to free agency. John Tavares, year older, his contract drops. It's just definitively not the core four anymore. You got two big boys, and then the rest of the team where it kind of just feels more team-like. That's, I think, one of the biggest positives, and who knows what the hell happens this season with these guys, and we'll get into it as we go through with the four of us here on this, but I think that's one thing that's a positive is just going into this season. This is the most I've felt like I'm watching the Toronto Maple Leafs as a team and not wow, I really think Mitch Marner and one of the core four or, pick your two or whatever it is really took a step this year and they could push us over the top. It just doesn't feel like that's the conversation that we're having as we approach game one, just wrapping up game 2 of the preseason here tonight against the Sens. It's a team feel that everybody's talking about now.
Yeah, and Cody, just to jump in quick, we talked about with Matty where it's Dave Pastrnak and not much else. If you look at the bottom of the screen here, Mitch Marner finally hit the 100-point plateau last year, gained 102 points, leading the team. But you hear Zach's optimism moving forward here as that team concept.
Yeah, it's just, I mean, remember his last big clip as a Leafs is telling his team to wake up with in the middle of Game 7. By the way, Zach, awesome Game 7 rant, I must say.
Content all
Yeah.
So I do have to say this. I did remember we did the preview with Zach, and I told Zach before. I said, Zach, Sam Bennett hasn't done anything yet, so he's probably going to do something. And he effectively knocks out Anthony Stolarz. I just got to point that out. I felt it coming, and he's still probably publicly enemy number 1 in Toronto.
Well, we have the news today too. If you guys want to get into that with
Joseph Wall.
Yeah.
We didn't plan for that.
Hey, but they have the Hildebeest. So, and Anthony Stolarz is ready to go. Contract year for Stoli. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah. Also, I'll quickly say too, by the way, just on the whole like Bennett thing, I was of the belief in the moment when it happened after the fact, and I think Rosehill and I believe Alberga felt the same about it as well the whole time. I know we don't stand for a lot of Leafs Nation, and they disagree with us, but it was a penalty. Like I think it's a penalty. You bumped into the goalie.
I'm fine with
penalty.
that.
That's it. That's it though. There's nothing else. I don't think it's like I'm gonna take this guy out and concuss him, and I'm going through the crease to do that. It's Sam Bennett. He's just naturally drawn to the blue ice. Like, that's what he does. That's who he is. You got to expect that. I don't think it's a suspension worthy. I don't think that this guy should be getting some wicked fine. I thought it should have been 2 minutes. They didn't call it. Like, suck it up and move on. That was my
fine
thought
with
in the
that.
moment. Yeah.
I'm fine with that. Look, if you wanted to suspend it, I was fine with that too because of the result.
People hate on me and Cody, Zach, on our post-game show when we go the other way with Panthers dirty tackles. Like, that's not dirty, and we're like, yeah, it was. That Nick Cousins stuff on Eric Goodbranson.
Oh,
that was dirty as hell.
That was a bad hit.
Listen, we weren't.
Here's telling us, Zach.
But here's the thing: we weren't dirty in the Carolina series. They started it first, and Edmonton was dirtier with us. I don't care what nobody says. Watch Game 3. They started it.
No, I agree with you guys.
But
I agree.
The additions goes as follows: Matthias Michelli from the Utah Hockey Club, now the Mammoth. Nick Waugh, damn good 4C for the Vegas Golden Knights in their Cup win. Michael Blazetta, a former bottom sixer of Montreal, kind of an energy guy. Mm-hmm. Travis Boyd, forward from this while, probably an AHL body, I believe. Henry Thrun, I'm pretty sure that was through the
Reeves.
No, it wasn't.
Yeah, it was Reeves.
It was Reeves. It wasn't Lilgren.
No,
I couldn't
Reeves.
remember. But Dakota Joshua trade from the Vancouver Canucks, a guy that I think Leafs Nation is going to fall in love with pretty quickly.
You've watched him a lot, Cody. I've watched him a lot. Really good hockey player.
Last year, just very tough year for him. Do not judge him on that year. Had testicular cancer before the year started. I'm pretty sure just all around rough year for him. I expect him to be back, and you guys are going to love him in Toronto. Then Easton Cowan, he signs his ELC. I'm not sure if he's going to make the big squad yet. He might get a couple of games, but we'll see. Probably more of an AHL development year type. Yeah. And as you can see, Mitchell Marner, no longer a Toronto Maple Leaf, now a part of the Vegas Golden Knights. The Vegas Golden Knights become a more hated team than they already are.
Yeah, we can unite with Leaf fans because we already hate the Knights.
Okay, perfect.
Pontus Holmberg to the Tampa Bay Lightning. I mean, just Holmberg was just middle six depth.
I don't know how that fits.
It's amazing what beating the Edmonton Oilers can do about my hatred for Vegas. It's kind of dissipated at this point, and then it came back the second they got Mitch Marner. So I didn't even
never
know
left for me. I don't get it's never left.
Oh really? Yeah, for me, once we beat Edmonton,
I hated them the minute they got in the league.
The fan base is pretty
I feel like once you're better than a team, you don't.
Did they show up when we won the cup? Did they show up when we won the cup?
No, they weren't anywhere to be found.
But they sure as hell bent us over at their expansion draft. Didn't
I wonder
they?
if they'll show up next year.
We gave them the Conn Smythe winner.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, that pissed me off again. That didn't bother me for a couple of years, and then he popped up again. I'm like, fuck.
Every time it was him, and then Ryan Reeves. I don't know how he's not retired yet, but hey, he's still kicking. Yeah. Now he's a part of the San Jose Sharks. But Toronto, I mean, just a lot. You get rid of Mitchell Marner, who was I believe $11.9 million cap hit, if I'm not mistaken, or 10.9, something around there.
10.93. Everybody in Toronto knows. You know why he's got 9.3 on there?
Because it was his jersey number in junior.
Yeah.
With that extra negotiating from
what a jackass.
Martin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you though, for those of you who want to hear the whole story behind this contract, check out the Steve Dangle or Aaron Wasted Marner video. It's a pretty good one. It details it pretty good, I think, from an outside perspective. I don't know about the Leafs perspective, but anyway, I mean, you get rid of Marner, you bring in Michelli, Dakota Josh, which kind of help out Levy out. But let me ask you, but I guess, Zach, my question is, out of these additions, which one excites you the most? Is it?
Well, I mean, I think that it's almost like a group, like where it's a couple additions. It's not necessarily one in particular.
It's the combination of all of them combined. Yep.
Yeah, like I'm not gonna look at this list, and I mean, let's call it for what it is. You guys have this up on the screen here. So for people like Michelli, Watt, they're gonna play on the big club. Pizzetta, fringe, probably not. I imagine he bounces between. Travis Boyd, as you pointed out, AHL. Thrun, unknown. I mean, a couple of the Leafs were talking about how he's like being a standout at camp. Jake McCabe was speaking glowingly of him. I think he's a guy who could find his way up, compete with Fleet Myers, maybe find a spot into the 7, just kind of create some competition. But I'm not looking, I'm like, yeah, thank God we got that guy. Dakota Joshua, excited about. Easton Cowan, as you guys had mentioned there as well, like probably start the season maybe, but AHL guy. So the combination of players you're looking at, really, Michelli, Waugh, Joshua are the ones that are going to be in the NHL. And for me, it's the fact that you brought in 3. Like, when you look at Pontus Holmberg, never found consistency, couldn't stick in the lineup like on a daily basis. He wasn't an everyday NHLer on a Craig Berube roster. Sheldon Keefe here and there liked him and then would put him in, and then he would come out, and it's just a weird fit. I liked him. I thought he could find something. He just never found it on a consistent basis. Ryan Reeves was not playing. Like, this guy was with the Marlies, right? As you said, I the only reason he's sticking around is because he's trying to get to 1,000 games. I think that's the milestone that's left, and he's pretty open about that in San Jose. Sure enough, that's the place to do it. It's the fact that you're losing the one guy who everything had to revolve around. Like, guys, people wonder why Mitch Marner was so despised here, and people outside of the market don't get it. Like, they didn't necessarily live through the contract negotiations the way Leafs fans did, where it was threatening to go to Switzerland because he wasn't getting the money that he wanted. He demanded $1 more, like publicly demanded $1. I'm not joking when I say $1 more than Austin Matthews on his contract. Like, it was known. Like, this stuff was getting ridiculous. We had his dad going and doing articles with The Athletic saying he should be wearing the captaincy. It's ridiculous. He's not. He was pissed off that people weren't saying his son was the best player. Like, everything was about Mitch. And now you've lost some of that where, in my opinion, one of the big things is I keep reading online and I'm just avoiding like getting into these altercations where it's like, how do you replace 102 points? You don't.
Can't.
Like, you don't try to. It's like, it's the cheesiest thing ever, but it's the money ball. You're not trying to replace Giambi. You're doing it in the aggregate. Like, you're building a team. You're not replacing one guy in his point production. That will get you nowhere. The whole problem you've had is that you haven't had a good enough team top to bottom. Now you bring in Waugh, Joshua, Michelli, if he's going to be a guy who can fit into your top 6. Like, those are the pieces that filter out through the rest of the lineup. Their contracts come in at less, and then they play different roles for you. Like, that's what's exciting me, is that it's not necessarily one guy in particular, although I would say if any of the 3 I had to pick one, it's Dakota Joshua. Like, I'm very excited to see what he could do, especially in a bottom 6. If he gets thrown in with like Bobby McMahon, if that ends up being the case, or whoever it is, he's a guy that does excite me. But it's just the fact that you've got like these 3 solid NHL players that are going to play in your lineup rather than it being about one guy anymore. Right. If that's a long way to answer your question, I apologize. But I think that's how I'm looking at it. And I think a lot of other Leafs fans are starting to kind of get to that point as well.
I think one of the things people realize now is the Florida Panthers score less than they did before. There are times during the year, and obviously Leafs fans, they don't watch us all the time. A lot of teams watch us in the playoffs. Mm-hmm. Kirby, Cody, how many times December, January do we complain about scoring?
every year.
Every year. We don't score a lot. Like, we're not a high-scoring team. Like, for
Well,
all
I
the
don't
people,
want to score lots. I want to be a 2-1.
Yeah, but we
correct.
I always have.
but we've had
That's
back-to-back
what they're
seasons.
going for.
We've had back-to-back seasons where we've been shut out back-to-back games multiple times.
Like, you take a
And
look
that
at
could
us.
happen with the Leafs kind of makeup now.
Majority through the year, we're middle of the pack. We're not top 5 most years in scoring. 2 years we won the cup. I think we're 8, 9, 10, 11. I'm not off the top of my head. I don't know. But
Well,
we're
part of
not.
that because the power plays and what the Leafs are and the
We're not 20. We're not 25, 26, 27, 28% power play. We're not scoring 3.5, 4 goals a game. I mean, we lost Jonathan Hooper. Don't bring in Matthew Tkachuk. But one of the things he said is your game's going to be different. It's not going to be, well, who's going to replace Marner and scoring here. There's going to be a shift in the third period. Well, instead of Mitch Marner throwing a cross-ice pass, it's going to be Dakota Joshua, Nick Waugh cycling in the offensive zone, wasting time, keeping the puck away. And I think that, to me, one of the things I think
with Berube,
one of the things I think Toronto really struggled with was not that the bottom 6, like, those aren't bad players. Like, I think they could find spots in the NHL. It's stylistically, it made no sense. Like Kalle Yarncroke, Nick Robertson, Max Pacioretty, David Kampf. I'm like, that's not a bottom 6 that's cohesive for playoff hockey.
Exactly.
They needed to change the makeup of their top 6, and I think you got guys like Dakota Joshua, Nick Waugh. I really like Nick Waugh and Dakota Joshua. That are going to be able to come in. They're not going to be like Kalle Yarncroke and Max Pacioretty. You're going to notice them. It may not be every game. So I know Leafs fans, for the most part, are very rational. But
Right.
there's going to be times during the year where it's just not clicking. And that's okay.
Yeah.
Because you're going to score less. You're not going to have as much offensive zone time. You're not going to get the chances you were with Mitch Marner in the regular season. But your game's better. Your team's better. The matchups are better. And one of the things I wanted to actually ask you about was, Matias Maccelli is interesting to me because this is a guy like 2 years ago with Arizona during their last year. This guy was disgusting, dude. Like, I'm watching some of these highlights. Like, this guy was unreal. I mean, where do you see his role and kind of thoughts on the bottom 6 makeup? Because even like a Scott Lawton, Steven Lorentz, I think like matchup wise, there's not many teams in the NHL I think can match up with your bottom 6 now.
So it's really interesting because you get this situation where I think Domi has more of an ability to play up and down the lineup than a guy like Maccelli would, right? Where if Domi doesn't work on the first line, he could play on the second, the third, the fourth. He could find a way to impact the game or be effective in any of those roles. Maccelli is the one that I'm really curious how this is going to work because Domi is not playing right now on the first line because he was injured in camp. So he had a lower body injury, wasn't skating full reps with the first line. Second, he's at, I believe his grandmother passed away, so he's out at a funeral here today, so that's why he's not playing tonight. So Maccelli slides in. If he can fit in the top, like we were making jokes about it. You could have just get like Marner light out of the guy because like Nick, you just said like the highlights this guy had when he was in Arizona and he was playing really well. He's got incredible vision. He's got really good hands. He's smaller guy. He's shifty though. Like
some of the best edge work I've seen.
Really good edge work. Yeah, so he can navigate the offensive zone really well. He seemed to lose his confidence a lot last year. He lost his place with Utah. They couldn't find himself in the lineup regularly. Just couldn't find that role. And again, to kind of bring it back to my point here with him fitting in the first line, I feel like if he doesn't fit in the first line with Toronto, he kind of ends up in that no man's land that he ended up in Utah, where, as you just said, like the makeup of the bottom 6 last year, where it's not really like conducive to playoff success. Like Maccelli's game doesn't really scream like bottom 6 playoff. Like if you're going up against Florida, Leafs are playing you guys in the first, second round, whatever the hell it may be, and I'm like, Matias Maccelli is going into the corner against the third line of the Panthers. I'm like, well, we might be screwed here. You know, like it's just like it's not the matchup I want when it comes to that. But on the first line, he could find it, especially if he's got Nyes and Matthews there with him. And the reason I don't give him as much leeway to go to the second line and say it could work there is not really because of him. It's just because of the need I think that they have on that second line. Like you look at the first, it's Matthews, Michelli. Those are your, let's say, quote unquote, skill guys. And Nyes, who's your bull. Then you go to the second line right now. Tavares and Nylander, those are going to be your skill guys again. Bobby McMahon, your bull. Like you need him to be the guy who's going to say, I'll go on the forecheck. I get
Straight
the puck
line
back.
drive guy. Straight
Exactly. And like if Michelli goes to the second line, then that again goes back to your guys' point, as you just said, even there, Nick, when you're talking about what Berube wants to do. Like that second line is going to be the one line of the four that doesn't play Berube style hockey because you're putting in Michelli, Tavares, and Nylander, and they're just not capable. Like the makeup of it isn't. So it's really kind of a boomer bust. I mean, I'm seeing like the clips and stuff that are coming out from tonight's Leafs-Sens game. I don't know if you guys are seeing this, but Michelli's ripping no look backhand passes.
Yeah, that's not going to work. That's not going to work.
Like, it's this might be, this is the Mitch Marner factor where it's like it's going to go pretty in the regular season. We're going to have Sportsnet top 10s, and then in the playoffs, we're like, what the
I
hell?
think if I could just say one more thing.
Okay.
When you take a look at, obviously, Michelli, $3.4 million cap hit, there would be an opportunity to make a move there. I think the perfect guy for this top six is Alex Tuck. To me, I think that would be the, honestly, cherry on top for this for this forward core, because I think your bottom six, I'm a huge fan of it. Nick Robertson, whatever, get him out of there. Me and Matthias Michelli, get him out of there. I think it could really work well.
Yeah.
I just wanted to jump in. Our guy, Ryburn, got to throw him under the bus a little bit here.
Here we go.
Zach's with me on this, and he's a big Leafs fan. He says he sees Domi on the top line, and I'm like, I don't. Michelli's got to be there.
I just think he gives you more flexibility to be on your third line. I mean, the only thing that I could say about it is Jeff Merrick, he told me this line, and he said it on the show, but it was like talking to Bobby Holik about playing why it worked in one place and it didn't work with the Rangers. And he just said, like, if I'm on your third line, we've got a chance to win the Stanley Cup. If I'm on your first line, we are not winning the Stanley Cup. And like that's kind of the view I have with Max Domi, where it's like I think he's a really good utility piece, but if you're he's a guy who can come in relief. If Michelli is injured or sick or something goes down or he leaves a game, misses a shift, Domi can step up. But if he's the guy you're looking at night in, night out, being like, you're the top line right winger, I think we've got a hole there.
I'm with Zach. Yeah.
And it's because this first line right wing, let's be real here, has the most important job on the team, which is get Austin Matthews the freaking puck. Because let's be real, Nyes ain't going to do it. Nyes is going to be driving the net, cycling everything. Nyes' game is not apples. It's deflections out in front, being a bull in a china shop. That's his game.
Skill base.
It could be. But Nyes is best when he's a bull in the china shop, like where he's just driving the net. Like, remember his OT winner versus Boston in the playoffs like 2 years ago in Game 5? Guess what he was doing? He was driving the net.
Yeah.
So... And against us, his first NHL goal, he was driving the net.
Exceptional finish when he.
I wanted to ask one more question. Obviously, last year, a big discussion was Austin Matthews' health. What is that like this year? I actually haven't heard anything about that. Was it his back?
So nobody knows. Like even to this point, like I mean, talk to as many people as you can, try to find out stuff. Nobody knows.
Yeah, Matthews doesn't want to talk about Marner. Doesn't want to talk about the injuries. Doesn't want to talk about a lot of things. Tavares take a lot of the opening questions, Zach, which is kind of interesting when they move the captaincy onto Matthews. So been interesting summer up here in Canada.
It's been interesting. Yeah. It's been interesting. Nobody knows, but I will just say he looks good. He looks better in this camp than he did in last camp.
Well,
he's put on a lot of muscle. Right?
I think that's mental. I think so, yeah. I'm not gonna lie. I think that's mental.
Yeah, it's kind of a weird off season. You're coming in this year. There's not a lot of noise really surrounding the Leafs. It's compared to years past, so it's kind of a quiet relatively quiet offseason.
No, not with the Marner stuff, but outside.
Yeah, but I mean, in terms of expectations surrounding the Leafs,
But it was more loud because of Marner.
Yeah. I don't really know what to expect from the Leafs this year.
They got their GM in place, the coach in place, the roster is changing, but not.
And they have the defensive core. They want McCabe, Tanev, Riley, Carlo, Ekman, Larson, Benoit. What are our thoughts on this group?
The D, I feel pretty confident in. Getting Brandon Carlo in here from camp, having him have an opportunity to be alongside Morgan Riley, and get that comfortability rather than just jumping into it right from the start. Like, comes over from Boston, they're playing a very specific system, then he's going to have to learn something new. And mix in on top of that, like, I highly doubt, based on watching Morgan Riley for his entire career here in Toronto, I highly doubt he's an easy partner to play with. Like, there is some defensive deficiencies that he's got in his game. He can be a little run and gun at times, and so you kind of have to be like prepared to play backup for him, and just coming over and being like, hey man, so you're the safety net to Morgan Riley could just be a little shocking, where all of a sudden you're like, okay, now I got to figure this out. So having Brandon Carlo get a full summer or a full camp under his belt with Riley, getting into, like, you know, just a little bit of a groove of it, being around him on an everyday basis, I think will help that chemistry. I also am optimistic. Like, I'm not going to sit here and be like delusional Leafs fan and be like, it's going to be a good year for Morgan Riley. But, like, I'm optimistic things will head in a better direction than they did last year, because last year was rough. He's down 6 pounds entering camp this year. He looked slow last year, so hopefully that's something that helps him this year. And he's been given the keys back to power play 1 out of the gate. Like last year, it was a debate the second the season started. Could it be OEL? Could it be Marner who's going to take it? Are they going to have to change the structure? Like, there was not a lot of confidence in him running it. This year, for better or for worse, there's no one else to run it. So, Morgan Riley, you're the guy. Figure it out. And he's known all summer, you're going to be PP1. Like, okay, you're the offensive defenseman. Let's get that confidence back. Like, I think that could help. The other guys, I don't have too much to say about them. I just have confidence that they can continue to roll over what they did last year into this year. The only one to me that would be like, okay, let's watch and keep a close eye, Simone Benoit. Like, he came out like he was shot out of a cannon. He looked really good. He earned his contract. I mean, I have no problem with him. He was unbelievable. Like, relatively, he was unbelievable in the first round against the Senators. I thought he was pretty good against the Panthers, so it was positive to see, especially coming off a regular season where at the end he tailed off and there was questions. But let's see where he goes to start this season. Playing with OEL, I think, is helpful. So the defense, I am confident in, which is nuts to say as a Leafs fan, because I'm sure you guys have been monitoring what happens here every year and being like, wow, I don't know about the
no more Mark Giordano and TJ Brody.
I'm with you with this group. I'm with you with this group and with Berube leading.
Confident.
Yeah.
So,
like every other team but ours. But
another point to talk about the goaltenders, Anthony Stolarz, his contract negotiation.
We got to talk about this.
Going on. Rumors between the terms, not a problem, 3 or 4 years. What do you think his deal is going to be?
I'm not gonna. I would be speaking out of term, and if I put like a number on it, I don't really know. I would be happy with anywhere between like 4 to 5.5. Like, I think that's probably realistic. When you think about caps going up, played really well last year, was very important. He was your number 1 guy going in, but
doesn't he want a 6 in front of that, or pretty darn close?
I think close. I think. So we'll see. The thing I would say is he's in an interesting predicament here right now, given, like, we don't know what's happening with Joseph Woll. Like, seriously, this news came today, shocking to everybody. No one knows. It sounds like he might be missing a while, which means Anthony Stolarz, you got the keys to the Ferrari, buddy. Like,
contract year.
You want the contract. You want to be the starting guy. you got the Hildebeest behind you, and I have confidence he'll take a step because last year was not pretty. I have confidence he'll take a step. That said, you can't go 50-50 with Stolarz and Hildebeest. Like, it has to be Stolarz being the guy who's going to carry the load. So if he can look, this is where you get in trouble because some guy has like a sick 20-game stretch and you're like, oh, pay him his money. But but if he
we
has
learned
a
that
great
pretty quickly.
start,
Don't worry, we learned that
then
really quickly.
Who knows? Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. Like, this is going to be an interesting start to this season because if he's going to have to be relied upon to be the number one guy and he takes over, it might be like, you know, what's the movie where Show Me the Money? Like, that's
Jerry Maguire.
Jerry Maguire, thank you. That's Stolarz walking into the office in Brad Treliving's office in Scotiabank if that happens.
Be careful with that phrase. My quarterback said that phrase. He sucked ever since. So it's going to be interesting to see because...
so did our tight end, Kirby. So,
hey, ranked number 1 in the position. Kirby tried to trade for him earlier today. Horrible deal, by the way.
I bet it was.
Just...
Another win.
You're 2-1, just like me.
But you're not 3-0.
Like Nick.
Oh, yeah, the Minnesota Knicks down here.
Listen, it's like Ken Holland. It looks weird, but it works. So,
and it hasn't worked in.
Yeah, Cody, you're dying on that hill. Yeah. But we're gonna say,
but
what are you 1-2?
I'm 2-1. What the hell?
Oh, okay.
Cody won't give credit. Go ahead, Cody.
Listen, but this is gonna be an interesting year for the Leafs. Let's be honest here. I'm actually gonna enjoy trying to watch
predictions here.
Not right now, but let's take a little talk here. I mean, I have my favorite player on the Leafs. I have my Willie Nylander jersey right here on right now. Willie Styles, as you'll like to call him. Mm-hmm. But I don't know what to think of Toronto right now because it's like so weird not seeing the core 4 there anymore. It's probably relieving for you guys in the media because you don't have to ask every question about it.
The content creators, that's different than the media. Yeah. For Zach.
Because you have the people coming into like your live streams chats asking like, what's Marner doing or whatever.
Nylander fans and the Marner fans, or you can't say nothing bad about Marner, right, Zach?
Yes. Yeah. As you guys, I'm sure, know because you watched the Steve Dangle stuff. So
I watch anything. I listen to every 32. If the team has a content creator, I listen to them. I like to know perspectives. Yeah. I like to know different perspectives. Just keep a pulse on the league. So I'm not.
But a lot of the Leafs ones are ingrained in the media.
Yeah, like here's the thing. Like Alberga, Rosie, and Zach after Game 7 was elite. I mean, it was pure. If you haven't seen the rant, it's a top 3 fan rant I've ever seen. It was straight from the heart. It was straight anger and everything.
Well, Rosehill did it the year before with Marner when I'm telling everyone in our community, open your eyes on Marner. And they're like, Kirby, why are you so hard on him? I'm like, if you're a Panther fan, do you not see? Why are you defending a guy like Mitch Marner? It doesn't correlate to me, right?
It's just
like, that's not what we're trying to build in Florida.
When they showed him that clip of him saying, wake the F up, I go, oh, boy, they're going to have a field day with this one.
It gets sent right to me right away because everyone knows my feelings on Mitch Marner.
And for those of you who haven't seen the new Corey Perry snippet from the new Amazon series that's coming out next week.
Yeah.
Oh, boy. Are we stupid?
I saw Kirby's tweet about that. I saw he was pretty fired up about it.
It was a good. It was a good one. I mean, look, the Leafs for me, it's just gonna. I don't think this team's complete. You have $8.7 million at the deadline to play with,
which is very nice for the Leafs to have that.
So
you just don't have the assets. Is the question? How are you going to make that work?
Yep,
they'll find a way.
I mean, think you can.
At this point. F the prospects at this point.
Well, Easton Cowan might finally be on his way.
You're trying to make a conference final at this point for the first time since I think 2000 or something like that, or it could be later.
Like I wanted to ask
2001, I think.
So Nick, the year I was born. So
I wanted to ask Zach about Nick Robertson. That's a curious name. Zach.
Is he going to be in the NHL?
Or a guy that actually finally fits in here?
So that question will be answered. Within actually, I don't even know. Like, if I scratch the guy, he's gonna come in and he's gonna score 5 goals in his first 3 games back, and then everyone's gonna say, "I can't believe this guy was healthy scratched," and then he's gonna fall off a cliff. But more so, what I'm gonna say is, Did he add other elements to his game? If he didn't, I don't see him sticking here. If he's not going to be a physical guy who's blocking shot, like nobody in the world, this is what people don't get. People in Toronto, that don't get this, where like I get in battles with people like, you can't give up on Nick Robertson. I'm like, dude, what else does he do? Because he's not scoring consistently enough to be staying here. Nobody's asking him to be blowing guys up and running guys over in the corner. But, like, is he going to be physical? Does he make his presence felt? Does he close out on checks? Does he take away time and space? Does he play well defensively and have an active stick? Does he block shots? Like, those are the other aspects of the game that he's not had consistently, because he can come in and shoot the lights out one night, and then the next night, if he's not scoring, he doesn't have a B game. Like, it's not there. It's all of a sudden he's just another guy on the ice who's skating around. So does he have that B game? If he has the B game, I could see him being a piece that actually finds a spot in this lineup where he could be trusted and he could play in a third line role, because he's a guy that can add scoring depth to your third, fourth line. And then if he can add the other pieces, like the big conversation that we've had here, as Nick brought it up and then just kind of carrying through, is like the Berube hockey. Does he fit that style, especially what you want in the playoffs? Traditionally, he doesn't. But if he can, like, he started to show it a little bit last year, so I'll give him the credit on that. He started to. But again, consistency. Doesn't have it consistently. If he can do that this year, I think he can stick in the lineup. But what I'll say is quickly, you'll find out quickly, but quickly for Nick Robertson will be like 10 games, not 5, because you need to like see it like over that period, because that's where you'll find like, oh no, he's not consistent again. Where in the first 10 games, like, we'll kind of know. And if that's the case, I think he's one of the first pieces getting shipped out. Because somebody will like him.
And that's how Zach looks at it as a content creator, Nick, and person in the media, where the fans don't do that.
This reminds me of Owen Tippett. Like, I think it's not working. He's had a lot of opportunity there. He might be able to
That man hit more posts than I have ever seen. It's ridiculous.
Nick has had more, Nick, than Tippett.
Well, I remember when he came in the league, nobody would shut the fuck up, say he's 18 years old. Remember that meme on Twitter?
That's what we're dealing with
like,
right now.
I mean,
it's like the Jason Tatum meme. He's 19 years old.
Like shut up already. Like, my gosh. But I think it's going to be an interesting year because, I mean, there's opportunity, right? So, like, Michelli, Robertson, there is an unknown in that top 6.
Lots of opportunity.
I think it's more likely Michelli than Robertson. I just don't think the consistency is there for Robertson. And I think a change of scenery could help. I know there's been discussion, more like just media, whatever, about Chinakhov out of Columbus. I wouldn't do that. I don't think that's really going to help. I'm not a big fan of Chinakhov, and I honestly, at this point, just see what you got. But they're going to be good enough to get to a deadline, and I think that's what you're seeing today's NHL, and almost $9 million in cap space. I think they should be as aggressive as they possibly can, because Panther, like, East is wide open, and if your biggest competition is the Panthers, who's trying to make 4th straight cup run, I mean that's hard to do if you're the Florida Panthers. Make 4 straight cups. So yeah. I think this could potentially be a good thing for Toronto. Could be.
That's
I don't want to say
last year, Nick, with Carolina, Toronto, Eastern Conference Final.
Because I think
1 game away.
I think the Marner noise gone. I think a lot can go well for them. Because I haven't really heard a lot of like controversy out of Toronto. Like, I know Marner left and everything,
Not yet.
But I mean, it's been relatively.
It will come up. Something will happen.
It's like the Yankees. Something will happen.
Well, I'm a Cowboy fan, so I remember the one year
Michael Parsons. Something happened.
Something happens. Listen, I'm not hoping for it, but we'll see what happens. But the question is, where do they end up? I might change my prediction here, because apparently Andre Vasilevsky's missed camp so far.
First here, Nick?
But listen,
no, you guys are locked in on Tampa.
My prediction is going to stay. My prediction is going to stay the same. Toronto, I have them 3rd. Reason being, I do think they're going to have some growing pains with the chemistry at the beginning of the year.
In the Atlantic,
yeah,
sorry,
3rd in the Atlantic.
Yeah.
Like, I could see him 2nd. I could see him. I don't know if they can. I don't know. Here's the thing. I don't know if they're going to – this is going to sound crazy saying Toronto, but I don't know if they'll score enough to win the division because I do think they have a lot of big ass question marks.
Well, keeping the puck out, Cody, they can do that.
Well, you better hope because if Stolarz gets hurt, you're a hill to beast all the way.
This adds a
Don't
little
say
wrinkle.
that. Don't say that.
It
I
adds
mean-
a little wrinkle with the wall stuff. Yeah.
But Joseph, I hope everything's okay as always.
Yeah.
But you're probably not going to see him back till what, December maybe? The way this is sounding, maybe late November. So
I
it's
have no idea.
it's
Tough to
It-
make a prediction here tonight.
it's very interesting to see. But for me, Toronto's third. Because it's just, to me, the team's not complete yet. Because this
So what do you
offseason,
have them at, Cody? 92, 95 here, 108.
95 to 101, I could have him in that range.
Okay.
And it's just this offseason was unprecedented because guess what? Every team thought they could get better this offseason. All of them.
Nobody did.
All of them except Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh.
Yeah, the ceiling didn't get pushed up. It kind of got all shrunk down a bit.
Philly wanted to get better. Columbus wanted to get better. Chicago wanted to get better.
Mhm.
San Jose.
Anaheim wanted to get better.
Anaheim wanted to get better. Anaheim can't get a free agent to save their lives.
Detroit can try, but they'll fail.
Hey,
We'll get to them next week.
but the thing is just the least kind of the Marner offseason the Marner contract and it couldn't happen at the worst time because no one wanted to get rid of their guys. No one did. So it was very tough for them to quote unquote replace him. You're not going to replace Mitch Marner. You're just gonna. You don't look for his replacement. Just look for a guy. I don't know how to say it. Just look for a guy to put in that spot. I'm not looking for another Mitch Marner because I'm just going to end up at the same place again.
So, Cody, you're saying Toronto third. Make sure you don't have any other teams in that spot.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask.
You guys
Where did I put Tampa?
Because you guys are doubling up here. So
Here's my 8: Florida, Tampa, Toronto, Ottawa, Montreal, Detroit, Buffalo, Boston. That's my 8.
Where did I put Tampa? Did I put him 3?
You
I
tell
don't
me.
know.
You Rod, and Cody had-
You know what? Go to Kirby. I'm going to look it up and see what I...
Okay, here we go. This is my top team in the Atlantic Division, first place. I know we heard the Joseph Wall news, which I am a big Wall believer, so I'm a little hesitant there. But the team that I'm going to have in second, our very own Florida Panthers, I don't see them going for the division. Zach, I'm pretty low on Tampa this year. I'm down there near the wild card, and I have Montreal in the third spot, which I mentioned last week. So you can see that Toronto-Montreal matchup potentially at that 2-3 spot. Pretty high on Montreal. But I have the Maple Leafs at 1. They might not be able to score as much, but I believe in the Craig Berube system. I think he's top 5 coach in the NHL. They bringing back all the same defense. They're going to have to learn to play a different style. But the additions that they made, Zach, I think it adds some depth. And a guy that we haven't mentioned here today, Scott Lawton, a little bit more comfortability within the system. So I think he'll play well. If you can move Domi down and you don't have to rely on a guy like that in your top 6. Again, Matthew's health card is a big one. But Florida has all these questions coming into the season too with Matthew Tkachuk. And they're not playing for division titles and stuff. And I'm not saying that the Leafs are, but they have a chance here to go back-to-back. I don't remember the last time they've done that. So I do think the division is open, and I think a team like Toronto, Zach, things go well, break their way. Again, Anthony Stolarz on a contract year. I'm not the biggest Stolarz fan, but a contract year. I think he can put up those numbers and pull up the division here for the Toronto Maple Leafs. So first, Zach, I have Toronto.
I this is gonna be like a stupid saying, sound really corny, but I don't think the Leafs team got better, in terms of adding more talent to the team, but I think they're a better team. This could be proven wrong really drastically. We'll find out as the season goes on, and I'm sure I'll come back on with you guys at some point to talk about it, especially ahead of the playoffs. But I think that they're a better team. And Kirby, I agree with your assessment of this here, where it's Florida and Toronto at the top for me. One of the things that is interesting is that Florida kind of gives me the, the Golden State vibes, where it was just we don't really care about the regular season. We're just going to get to the playoffs, and then we're going to go there. I feel like Florida's just going to kind of do that as well. They're good enough. They don't, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. And they seem pretty confident in whoever their matchup's going to be, no matter what. So they're just get there. But how does that play out in the regular season? I'm not as low on Tampa here as you, so I'll go Toronto 1, Florida 2, Tampa 3. I'm probably gonna put Montreal at 4. I'm interested in what happens with Ottawa this year.
Yes.
Jeff brought it up and on the show today, actually, which is something that's really starting to make me think was the goaltending, how it holds up through the course of a season. What happens with Allmark? Can he be a guy who's healthy, not just injury? Like, this is a guy who seems to miss games here and there a lot and puts pressure on the other guys. Do they have enough talent to rely on, whether it's the backup or the third stringers, to be able to hold them over in that time? Like, it's gonna be a lot.
And they're a team when things are going bad, it kind of sinks on them a bit.
100%. And we've seen that out of them. So that's the one where I feel like there could be like a step back, and I do think Montreal got a bit better there. I don't know if you go through the rest, like Detroit's probably the one that comes in right after Ottawa, and then I hate to do this to them, but I'm still putting the Sabres in last and the Bruins ahead of them. I have zero confidence in that team, in the GM, in the ownership, in any of it. Like, I don't trust them as far as I can throw them. I don't trust them to develop guys properly. I don't trust them to bring guys up and put them in the AHL at the right time or to the NHL at the right time. Players. I don't trust them to keep water from coming through the roof of their arena. I don't trust them at all. So the Sabres team, man, I'm putting them at the bottom again.
Like, you could go to a game and go to concession stand. You don't think they're going to get your order right. Like, that's how bad they are. It's like, and you know what's funny? We've been putting them last for 10 years.
It's Florida North, everyone, and I'm not talking about when the Panthers were good. I'm talking about when we were horse shit. And
horse shit's kind.
Like, you want to see the greatest.
We were that bad.
You want to see.
No, that's a kind.
No
depiction.
You want to know where Toronto's biggest home crowd is? It's in Buffalo. Like those
crowd.
They're electric in Buffalo for the Leafs.
Yeah.
That's Leafs South. Like, it's just like
buy 10 tickets to sit together with your buddies.
Yeah, you could buy 10 tickets for $20.
Yeah, you could walk in without a ticket. They probably wouldn't stop.
And they got their posters and their Matthew shirts. And
here's the thing: the security guard before you walks in says, "You sure?" And then you say yes, and then they walk you in. Like, it's just like. Like, I've never seen a team.
Buffalo preview coming next week, everyone.
Like, every now and then a team lucks in.
Can I take that week off?
Like another team lucks into the playoffs at least one damn year.
No, Nick, you got to be here because you're shitting on Detroit also.
Oh yeah, that's right. I'll show up for the first half.
Here's the thing: Detroit's 6 just because they tried to fix with John Gibson. We'll see what happens, and I like Todd McClelland.
Yeah, I'm a McClellan guy.
The thing is with Montreal. Here's the thing with Montreal for me, and I'm probably I'm the minority on this. If you look at their forward makeup and look who they lost, they lost a lot of defensive forwards, and they replaced none of them back. They lost. Damn, I'm blanking on them now. I'm looking right at them. They lost Christian Dvorak, big piece on their penalty kill. Who am I blanking on? He's blonde guy. I'm staring right at him.
I think it's Joel Armia. I think you're over
Armia.
Guys. Yeah.
Like,
I think they're
and Doc has never been healthy.
That's it. But again, we talked with Matty. They're trying to find that 2C, and I think they're going to do that. They have a lot of cap lines.
So I found my prediction, by the way.
Hold on. I have Toronto first. Cody, you have Toronto third. Zach, you got Toronto second?
Look, I'll put them first, but the main reason is because I think Florida is not as worried about winning the Atlantic. Like,
it's just we don't give a shit.
Yeah, you're with that.
I have Toronto third.
With Cody. Okay.
Yeah, I think it's going to take a little while. I think, again, there's going to be some games where, you lose a talent like Mitch Marner. It's going to show in the regular season, and there might be a game or two where, especially injuries happen. Top 6, Matthew's not going. I think you're bound to fall off a bit.
That could happen, yeah.
And you might lose to a team.
On with Matthews, 1 year off.
This is the on year.
I think it's going to be a battle between them and Tampa for 2-3. I think it'll be interesting to see how Montreal, like you guys were talking about, I have them at number 4 where they're at.
Yeah, so you have, Nick, you have Florida 1, Tampa 2, Toronto 3, Montreal 4.
Correct. But I do think Montreal could, if they get hot, I think, and Tampa with certain things like Andre Vasilevsky, apparently he's been missing camp this week.
Yeah, because he's preparing for the 70 starts he's going to have to
so,
make.
I mean,
right?
Really, I think Tampa.
And you're like with Ottawa with me and Zach there, kind of that 5th spot.
Like,
I don't know what's weird.
Wild card,
I feel they're a better team than last year, but I just think, and I think they'll make the playoffs. But I think Montreal has too much talent. I like Montreal's talent a little bit more.
I think Montreal's going to get off to a hot start. They could be first, second in the division. I think in a month and a half in. That's what I feel with Montreal, and that's going to give them some room there.
You're
and
high on every team but ours.
They've got all these guys playing for the Olympics. They are the most hungry team coming into this year, and they had the best line in hockey last year for the last 34 years. Nick Suzuki was one of the best players in the NHL from January 1st on. And Nick, we talked about their goaltending. There's more questions in the division right now with goaltending. Montreal don't have those questions.
Yeah, they do.
No, they don't.
I do. I'm
Yeah,
not. But then again, I'm not a Montembeau guy. That's the older thing.
Your questions.
Yeah.
It's
I'm not a
else
Montembeau guy, really.
Massey,
I rather Stolarz than Montembeau. That may be a hot take, but I'm not.
Yeah,
really
if you
Montembeau
took
guy.
Stolar's last 2 years, I think he just beats out Montembeau last year.
Okay, then you take Stolarz on the Olympic team, Cody. I'm fine with having Montembeau on my team.
Montembeau's not even top 5.
Yeah, he is. Nick, you have him on your list?
He was on the Four Nations team, right?
I'm sorry. There is no way people think Stuart Skinner, and at this point in his career, Aiden Hill is better than Sam Montembeau.
No way, man.
There's no fucking way.
All right, there's no way that he's not better than those two. I'll stand on that.
Aiden Hill, that's
I
a
can't
joke.
stand Aiden Hill. Like,
Okay, then Cody's.
So the other thing I will say here with you guys, it's
but
in
you guys can't
agreement
develop
with it.
goaltending to save your lives.
Go ahead,
The other
Zach.
thing I'll say in agreement with you guys is there is an aspect here that I think gets overlooked a little bit, especially in a year like this where we haven't had this in a long time, is there is some personal motivation for each of these guys, especially bubble guys. Lane Hudson, not invited to Team USA in orientation camp. There's going to be a little bit of like a FU in his game to the US, essentially. You're also going to have Nick Suzuki on the outside looking in from Canada at the Four Nations. He was invited to camp this year, went out there, met with John Cooper. He's going to want to make the team. You're also looking at Noah Dobson, who's going to want to make Canada this year. Montembeau, going to want to make Canada. Like, you look at each of these guys. There's probably guys I'm forgetting from
Cole
other
Caulfield.
countries. Cole Caulfield, exactly. Thank you. You throw in these guys, like, they're going to have motivation to try to make their own Olympic teams, especially if they were on the bubble or not invited, or it's just going to be like a FU that could have them start off the season with a little bit extra heat. Like, that's a very, very realistic thing that we haven't seen in, like, when was the last time NHL players went to the Olympics? Sorry for derailing. 2014?
2014?
Holy shit. Yeah.
That was
so,
what Subban, Price, Weber.
Yeah, so we haven't seen this in a long time where
like-
those guys could get that extra little kick.
And
in
that's
them
my
to
big
get
thing.
And the other part is Canada's like guys like Colton Parayko, Travis Sanheim. I mean, that they're not locks to make it again, so that's kind of where that open competition
But even
comes
those
in.
guys had a little bit of jump last year, and that was for Four Nations, Nick.
Well, correct, and that's what I'm saying is like you're going to see guys. I know people are going to like Mackenzie Weig or Aaron Ekblad potentially, Brandon Montour, some other guys
All
that
those-
all former Panthers. But I think there was an article a couple weeks ago, like Brandon Montour was really standing out at camp. And
He played the World Championships with Crosby and McKinnon.
and I think that matters
The
too.
power
He has he's played for Team Canada before, so I was a little bit skeptical of the way Canada structured their defense last year. I thought one of Parayko or Sanheim were fine.
Well, Doughty
I
was
didn't-
injured there. That added a
and
little.
Doughty was a. I wonder. I think Doughty's a lock again, just strictly because it's Drew
You
Doughty.
got to
But
have
again,
some sort of experience on the team. With you have Crosby on the forefront, I think Doughty is that on the back end, especially
Yeah.
Olympic experience. Like for the U.S., I want John Carlson on the defensive back end just for the
well,
experience.
I know
But then again, we
a guy
haven't
like
had that
Seth
many
Jones
guys,
might
so-
get looks there.
Yeah,
I
people
mean,
laughed at us.
I mean, people can say what you want. I mean, Seth Jones probably going to get.
People were laughing at us for that trade, by the way. I remember that. I
I
remember
don't know
that.
who the hell was laughing. You got to keep
Bunch-
receipts on that.
But,
You gotta keep
oh no,
receipts
we
on
had
those.
Chicago people in our comments saying you just got the worst player in the league. And
Vince,
so
and this
pissed
is an
that you
exact
guys got
this is an
Seth
exact
Jones.
quote from Vince. I'll say it now. We lost this trade. exact quote from Vince.
Because Vince is a prospect guy. We haven't had a good prospect since Lundell graduated. So it's just like, I don't know. But I'm excited for the Olympics this year.
We're going to have to have Zach back for this. This turned into a whole Olympics.
No, but here's the thing. We're excited
I'd
for
be happy
best.
to.
This is
hey Zach, I need someone on my side. Okay, we need to even the numbers.
Oh yeah,
Okay,
you're Canadian, American. Like Here's the
back.
There we go.
Like here's the thing. At least here's the thing. That's how
I
I
won
understand.
a lot last year.
Here's why I understand and this is how I understand the Matthews frustration because he.
Oh my gosh!
Posts.
Watch having that guy on your team. It drove me nuts. It's freaking insane. I remember watching him in freaking Four Nation. Like, what the fuck is Matthews doing?
That too. If he scores a goal there, he had 4 or 5 chances. That is the fortune.
Listen, my exact quote with Matthews is, Austin, I know you want to be defensively sound. I know it. But score a damn goal. This is what got you the damn contract.
You know, when I see Sam Bennett on the other side,
but I think he was really hurt last year.
Yeah,
I think he was really,
and
really
I need
bad.
Fans aren't good.
And I need more from Eichel this year. Come on,
how about Jack Hughes or this USA superstar? I mean, what the hell? Kyle Connor was scratched for who?
I told you, it's an indictment when Jack Hughes can't play his natural position best on best. And I got into it.
Braden Point can't play his natural position best on best. Is that an indictment on him?
Who?
Braden Point. He was on your wing. Is that an indictment?
Because of embarrassment of riches, Cody.
We have him too.
Jack Hughes has been compared to the best guys in the game, but
oh my goodness, so is Braden Point.
Braden Point can do anything you ask him, Cody. That's a horrible.
Were you talking about like last year, Cody, about how underrated Braden Point was?
I still think he is.
But Cody only shits on when's Olympics. You saw that one?
Yeah, because he's Canadian. If he has red on his jersey, no, I don't like him.
I'm not like that, Cody.
I can't wait for Anthony Cirelli and Brandon Hagel to get top
Oh,
six
yeah,
time.
the Cirelli-Hagel point line.
H. Thompson should have been there, Hey, we're already starting, Zach. We already going.
And I can't wait for Matthews to hit 13 posts.
But Zach, you're with us on this. We get to look forward to the Olympics, and you being a Canadian like me, you know, our teams in the regular season, we've been there, done that. The Leafs have been there, done that. The Panthers have been there, done that. We kind of got this little, cherry.
I have not been there, done that. Hold on a second.
No, regular season, Zach. Regular season.
Okay, yeah.
Regular
okay,
season.
yeah.
Regular season.
I'm gonna say April down.
I didn't make that mistake.
April down is like Zach's like I'm out. I can't.
Like, regular season.
Early summer.
But here's the most exciting thing about the Olympics for me. It's the fact that it's not an NHL event where the players have to be from the NHL. It's the best players from each country. And you're going to see guys that are playing the KHL, the SHL, and that could have really good Olympics and be in the NHL next year because there's more cap space to be thrown around now.
And that small sample size.
And that's what I'm excited about. I'm excited to see what guys do I not know about? What guys are getting shoved that we never heard of? Like for instance, like the Olympic in basketball. Your son, Yabu said that used to play for the Celtics, got ousted from the league, had a damn good Olympics for France, and was signed to the 76ers a week after the Olympics. So it's something like that
I don't know to expect that far, Cody, but they're going to get a look moving forward on.
Yeah, I know, but that's what I'm excited about. I'm excited to see the unknowns. Besides, half our freaking teams going to the Olympics. I mean, Uvis Polinskis is the number one defenseman for Latvia, and like he's our 7th.
Yeah,
and it's something we got to remind ourselves about. Like some of these guys may not be NHL quality, but like NHL like superstars, but they're the best their country has. And like I said, it's gonna be so fun to watch. I'm so happy Best on Best is back.
Yeah. Hopefully, Zach, you enjoyed that getting pulled in there, but we get going on the Best.
Yeah, no, I did.
I get to enjoy it.
Like, where can everyone follow you? We appreciate you being part of the Cats and Rats community as always. You're really growing and really blowing up out there. So.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I appreciate you guys having me. It's fun every time I've come on here. Anybody, you guys can follow me on Twitter at Zack Phillips, ZackPhill. For content, the Leafs Nation. I do the post-game show, so as you guys just had Bruins Bender, that's what the podcast was that was on before, right, Matt? Yeah. Just same thing, live every game. After the game, I'm live right on YouTube. The Leafs Nation, breaking it down. A lot of guests come through: Carter Hutton, Jay Rosehill, Dave Pagnotta, Nick Alberga. Try to expand it out a little bit more this year. maybe get some other guests to come through on the post-game shows as well. Fill in every now and then on Leafs Morning Take, and then produce and jump on with Jeff Merrick on the sheet on Daily Face-Off Monday to Friday, 1 Eastern time. So, yeah, doing a lot of different stuff here across across
You're
the
always
NHL.
busy.
Hey, being
Yeah.
busy is a great thing, but Jeff Merrick,
Yes.
I mean, that's my bucket list. One of my guys.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. It's
Yeah,
a
we
lot
got
of
we
fun.
got EJ this summer. That was pretty.
Oh yeah, EJ Raddick. That was.
Yeah.
We
One
had.
of our guys was golfing with him in Edmonton during the final. He's like, "You want to come on the show?"
No,
So,
there
it's
you
funny.
go.
The hockey world's so small, Zach. Right?
Yeah,
Like,
it
it's
is.
great. Yeah.
But I mean, that wraps up another
Yep.
Atlantic Division preview. I mean, this division is going to be fireworks because this is by far the best division in hockey, I think, because you can make a case for about maybe 5 of the teams making the playoffs comfortably,
Yep.
and maybe a 6 if Buffalo gets their shit together or Detroit finds a way to not ice Justin Hall. Well, I mean, it's going to be a fun year, boys. I mean,
Yeah.
Olympic hockey, a new era for the Toronto Maple Leafs. It's
No more
it's
core
quiet.
four.
It's
No more
quiet.
core four.
It's quiet for now, but where's the noise going to come from?
Yeah.
That's the best part. We don't know. Well,
Yeah.
I guess for Zach, that's not the best part.
Yeah, no, it'll happen. It's fine. It is what
But-
it is.
But Zach, we appreciate it. Once again, thank you to also a big shout out to Matty from the Bruins Benders for hopping on with us again as well. Our other sponsors, Caneswear. Get your gear. I mean, the Hurricanes going crazy, and in 2 weeks.
Yeah, I don't want to say Caneswear featured on ESPN Game Day this week.
Hey, Matthew Kachuk on college game day countdown. Hey, Matthew, you better watch who you're talking to with Florida State, buddy.
You might end up in that, Cody. You might end
Hey,
up.
if we lose, I'll wear it. Like that's
Cody,
how
you
it
need
is.
to make bets. You're very high.
You
on
guys want to know? You want to feel better about actually? I don't even know if this will make you feel better about yourselves. I heard the Cowboys. I don't know what everyone else has.
Why do we always got to bring up the Dallas Cowboys, man?
Hold on. You're gonna be the teams I have chosen in my life. The Toronto Maple Leafs. Obviously, I get the Blue Jays.
I bet
Raptors,
I'm worse for football. Bet money on that.
Miami Dolphins.
Yes, that's me.
That's my team.
Oh no, he's with Cody.
And then my college football team, which I didn't have one until 2 years ago. One of my buddies
It's
played
Texas,
at this
isn't it?
school, so I ended up having to choose. No. It's the Maple Leafs of college football. It's Notre Dame.
Oh,
okay.
So I'm just dealing, and I was like first year being a Notre Dame fan. We go to the finals.
Yeah, they
Wow.
tease the
Just
finals.
get
Though. They
throttled.
tease the finals. But I see that little bit of Toronto. I can see.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
It's but the Dolphins.
Here you go,
You had to
Zach.
bring up the damn Dolphins. Like
Hey, that's my team too, man. That's my team too.
There you
so.
go. There you go. Cody started group chat.
Didn't we
There's
love
so many
what
Cowboys fans in our
Kirby? Did you enjoy Caleb Williams looking like freaking Peyton Manning
No, I'm not
last
getting that.
weekend?
Bring teaser on for that. Bring
dog, we
something.
made Daniel Jones look like Michael Vick. Like
Okay, well,
it's,
he looks like Michael Vick every week. I mean, this guy came out
you
of
know what?
nowhere.
They're 3-0. We're 0-3.
Zach,
Maybe
everyone's
I
ready
was
to move
wrong.
on to hockey, and they're like, Kirby, I'm ready for hockey because all their football teams are just going into that.
Done.
Like we're all loser town here. Like this, us four losers.
Yeah. You guys won the Stanley Cup. You can't say losers. You won the. Get
Tell
out of
Nick
here with
that.
that.
Did we?
Listen, here's the thing: the
Won
Panthers
it twice.
The
And
Twice.
Panthers are our number one team. Panthers
Hey,
are our number
Zach.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, the Dolphins are my first love. So
Okay.
that's
Oh,
like
yes.
Panthers. I found a year later, and they were just as dog shit. So, like,
Oh, boy.
It's
it
only a
was-
matter of time.
thank
NFL
God.
after dark here with Zack Phillips.
Yeah, exactly.
Like the Panthers.
Grievances.
Like, look. Hey, NHL After Dark. We're gonna be live every Saturday night. Once again, the FSU Trash Can Team of the Week. There will be one every week.
Yeah.
So don't be trash.
Yeah. And we'll
Actually-
check in with Zach during the
I don't know
year.
if we'll do-
Yeah.
We hope the best.
Yeah.
We'll hopefully check in with you sometime during the playoffs or maybe during the Olympic break here, Zach. So
Yeah.
Yeah,
But-
I'd be happy to.
well,
Thanks for having me,
Well,
boys.
once again,
Appreciate it.
thank you for everyone watching. Shout out to everybody in chat that commented for us. Once again, thank you to Zach and Matty from Bruins Benders. Shout out to Caneswear and Jeremy Beckham. As we sign off here, and Nick looking at his phone, as always, let's go Cats.
What's up, Cats and Rats fans? If you enjoyed that video, be sure to hit the like and subscribe button before you head out. If you're listening to us on Apple and Spotify, make sure you leave us a 5-star review. And just like always, let's go Cats!